It's so sad, man. It is so sad. Why a nobody gets to kill a somebody? And I know I hate calling people nobody, but listen, some people are nobodies. They get up every day to do nothing. They have no goals in mind. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not working on anything. They don't have a 9 to 5. They're not working for anyone. They have no legal means of income. They are not a part of the community, as in a productive, uplifting, progressive part of the community. They don't have children they're taken care of by legal means. None of that shit. And they get to pull a trigger and kill somebody who's not only building themselves, but is building other members of the community as well, such as the case of Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle autopsy report was just released. Good God. I don't know why I was under the impression that Nipsey was shot once. The Victory Lap rapper, according to MSN, whose real name was Ermias Asgedom. Ermias Asgedom was his real name. Anyways, Nipsey, as we all know him, he was killed outside of his clothing store, the Marathon store in Los Angeles, March of 2019. And an autopsy report has now revealed that wounds sustained were to his head and his torso. Of course, we all know the Eric Holder guy, and it was a homicide, according to police, obviously. He shot Nipsey in his head, man, and in his torso, but that's not the bad part. According to documents that were obtained by RadarOnline.com, the cause of death was determined to be multiple gunshot wounds to his body, and the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office described his death as rapid, meaning he passed away not long after being shot. It is said that he sustained 11 gunshots. In the event when Nipsey was getting shot up, there were people around, and a lot of people are wondering. I know I've heard Charleston White speak about it. Everybody ran away from Nipsey when he was getting shot. Now, for us not knowing the case, a lot of us might have thought, okay, there's this one guy that had one gun and he shot once and hit Nipsey in the chest and he died. And it wasn't so. This man was letting off crazy gunshots. Nipsey caught 11 of them. Of course, people were going to run. You're not bulletproof. And I don't care if it's Nipsey or whoever. The first thing you do when you hear gunshots going off in series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're running. It wasn't like it was one shot or two shots and people are like, damn, what have you done? Nah, it was a lot of shots. Eric was focused on killing Nipsey. According to documents obtained from the coroner, Los Angeles Coroner's Office, his death was rapid. In July, Eric Holder Jr. was found guilty of first-degree murder, 1 count of possession of a firearm, and 2 charges of attempted voluntary manslaughter following Nipsey Hussle's death. The other charges stem from him also shooting 56-year-old Kerry Latham and Sharmi Villanova, who was 44 years old rather, during the fatal attack on Nipsey. So when Nipsey Hussle got shot, he wasn't the only one that got shot. This brother pumped 11 bullets into Nipsey. I shouldn't even call him a brother. He's a nobody. He pumped 11 shots into Nipsey Hussle, but he also shot 2 other people that were standing there with Nipsey, a 56-year-old Kerry Latham and a 44-year-old Sharmi Villanova. He is currently facing life in prison, but his sentencing was recently postponed until November 3rd, so y'all can look out for that. I'm pretty sure he's going to get life. He's been having a rough time in prison. They've been fucking him up. The last time he appeared in court, he had stitches in his head because they busted his head open. His eye was swollen. His face looked unrecognizable almost. He's getting the beats back there. He's probably going to have to do most of his time in another state where people are not so fresh on it. But what state is he going to go to? Because Nipsey became an international star before he died. And then when he died, he became even more of a star. And gangs are everywhere. So just out of G code, gang code, he is a walking target. I'm talking about Eric Holder. So anywhere they put him in, whatever state they transfer him to, he's going to get the beats. But definitely, if he stays in California, in LA, they're going to kill him eventually in prison. Whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, or a couple of years from now, it's going down. He's facing life in prison. He's probably going to have to do that in solitary if he wants to stay alive. Both Holder, though, and Nipsey Hussle are said to be members of the same set, the same gang set, the Rolling 60s Crips. You know, there's a story out there about how Nipsey wanted to get away from the gang. He wanted to go more towards the business side of Hollywood, the business side of entertainment, get into movies, own all his masters, open a recording studio, pursue his music more aggressively on a higher level, tour the world, do shows, that kind of stuff, become a bigger superstar. His star was growing. But because he was connected to the gang, they wouldn't let him go. Like the OGs wouldn't let him go. And he was like being extorted pretty much. So he had to stick around and he had to make that money and he had to split that money. But because you're a member of the gang, see, in gang world, you don't use the gang and the protection of the gang while you're not famous and then you get famous. And once you get famous, you just cut ties. It's not going to go like that. They're going to view you as a family member who they fed and protected and cared for. And then as soon as you got rich and famous, you moved to another part of the city and in a gated community and stopped answering your phone and started moving with security and wouldn't speak to anybody who was there for you when you came up. So Nipsey, trying to show his loyalty, stuck around, but it eventually cost him his life. Eric Holder's attorney previously admitted that he was disappointed with the murder conviction, as he had argued for a manslaughter ruling after arguing that the rapper was warned that his client there has paperwork on him, prompting him to lash out. Listen, so basically what the story was somebody came to Nipsey and said, yo, we got some paperwork on Eric, on old boy. He working with them people. He telling on somebody. You know what I mean? And I don't think you want to have him hanging around here because he's hot right now. See, how the streets goes is when you go into prison or into jail, if you go in there and you're a snitch and you tell on somebody to get out, that word comes back to the street, especially if you gang affiliated and you got gang members in those revolving doors going in and out. They get to talking and they hear about you in there and they send that kite to the streets. Now, people out on the streets, somebody's going to handle you. So they were giving Nipsey a heads up. So when Eric came around, Nipsey told him, like, look, man, I don't want you hanging around here. Go take care of that shit. And as far as we were told, Nipsey didn't tell it to him like in an embarrassing way, loud as hell in front of everybody, which is what we thought happened. Again, we're on the outside looking in. We making shit up in our minds as we're hearing the story. Oh, it must have been so embarrassing. Nipsey probably said, get the fuck from in front of my store. You a snitch, nigga. I got paperwork on you. And it wasn't like that. Black Sam and there was a guy that was standing there, actually, that testified. He said Nipsey called Eric to the side and whispered it to him. He was like, yo, we got some paperwork on you, homie. You know what I mean? You can't be around here. Leave from around here. Go take care of that. Right? And he said that got Eric so upset because in that world, if people accuse you of having paperwork on you without being able to show it, I want y'all to go watch Tony Yayo's interview on Vlad TV. This is exactly what Tony Yayo was talking about. I'm not discussing nobody's shit. People call people snitches all the time. You could get killed for that because that's something that's deep. That could get them killed if somebody believe that it's true. So they'll kill you for calling them a snitch, right? That's basically what it was. It's all G shit, gang code, street shit. This is the part that a lot of people wish that Nipsey had cut ties with. But he was so entrenched in the hood, and he was so entrenched in, he started that whole buy the block back. Own all the buildings in your neighborhood. Buy it back. Invest in your neighborhood. Take care of your community. That was his initiative. That was what he was about. That was what he was doing. So Eric took it as, damn, you calling me out like that? And if it's somebody like Nipsey is saying that about you, then you know that word's going to travel far because Nipsey bossed up. He bossed up. He was no longer just a regular gang member or a regular member of the Rolling 60s. And I say it because Nipsey always said he is a member of the Rolling 60s Crips. I remember him confronting or being confronted by a journalist one time, news media paparazzi people. If y'all remember the infamous video where he swung on the news media person and he was like, yo, don't approach me like that, homie. I'm a gang member before anything. You know, and I thought, damn, that was so ignorant of him. But that was him, and that he was so entrenched in it, and the way they approached him, he didn't know who was approaching him. So he thought it was about to go down when all it was some reporters looking for some question answer type shit. Anyhow, Eric felt like, yo, he called me out. These motherfuckers about to do something to me. So I'm going to do something to him to set an example. But I don't know what kind of example that was because now your life, you'll never be free again. And there's no way you could go to court and argue that and get off on them charges by telling a judge or a jury, this person called me a snitch, so I killed them, shot him 11 times in front of everybody, shot 2 people that were standing next to him, and I'm supposed to be let free. Wow. They said that according to the case, it was always going to be tough because, you know, it's a high-profile situation, the circumstances surrounding the case. We're grateful that the jury agreed with us in part that the case was overcharged and acquitted Mr. Holder of the 2 attempted murder charges. So they threw out his 2 attempted murder charges on the other 2 people that he shot, which I don't think is fair. They should have held him accountable for that shit too. But okay. He's on murder charge, 1st-degree murder charge for Nipsey Hussle. And that's enough. I'm absolutely sure that that's going to stick. And that right there is going to land him in prison with a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Watch and see. In his opening statement, Jensen admitted that his client, this is his attorney speaking, now this is Nipsey's attorney. In his opening statement, Jensen, which is Nipsey's attorney, admitted that his client shot, my bad. This is Eric Holder's attorney speaking. And he said, in his opening statement in court, he admitted that Eric shot Nipsey Hussle, telling the jury and a judge that Eric shot and killed Nipsey Hussle, but he said that it was a crime that was committed in the heat of passion. That shit ain't gonna fly. And it shouldn't fly. Shouldn't fly at all. But we'll see how it goes. End of the day, that autopsy report, god damn, that was overkill. But I want y'all to put in the comment section what you think about the whole situation, because there's a story floating around out there with some names that I don't even want to mention, that Nipsey actually got killed by his own gang and his OGs, and it was a hit and an order was given. So Eric would probably be protected in prison since he carried that out. I don't know. It's just a sad day. 11 shots. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's Hot Topics TV. I'm out. Peace.